And now it's time for Guerilla Roundup. They'll let you know what happened overnight when things transpire whilst you sleep. Right there in the loop you keep.
So, welcome to the final episode of Guerilla Roundup for 2024, where we've got Hector Vickers at Seddon Park in Hamilton, who has seen the final denouement of the last test. How are you travelling, Hector, after a wild series for you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Again, we've got the England boys in the background. I'm not sure if you can see playing some pick and having some beers, but yeah, a great test.
I'm surprised they're not heading for the golf course. Maybe it's a bit late.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say that today probably went pretty much as predicted. We had England starting the day on 18 for 2, chasing a very improbable score of, I think it was, 654, something like that.
Yeah, 658.
658. So how did the morning progress?
Well, as you say, it went exactly as everyone thought. I was actually surprised that the game went beyond lunch. Root and Bethel started off and they looked really nice. If there was ever any hope, it was with those two at the crease. But Root ended up scoring 54 off 64 with 10 boundaries, but he didn't look, it wasn't one of his best half centuries, certainly. It looked as if he was sort of tinkering with his technique a bit. And yeah, he survived two pretty tight LBW shouts. I think New Zealand were unlucky not to get him on 25, and he was also dropped on 20 and yeah, hitting the balls for 90-mile-an-hour Will O'Rourke balls. So yeah, he looked unsettled, but he combined for 104 with Jacob Bethel, who top scored a 76 off 96. He looked awesome until he just gave away his wicket to Tim Southey. Tim Southey's second and last wicket of his test career was Bethel walking down, trying to hit him back over his head for 6, and ended up slicing it to Glenn Phillips, a backward point. Other than that, Gus Atkinson cameo 43 off 41, but apart from that, no one else troubled. Harry Brook, Norton won in his first test match as the #1 batsman in the world. He fell to O'Rourke again.
I think we'll find that Joe Root's back at #1 next week.
Yeah, you'd think so. He got called up, another ball from O'Rourke, who looked amazing today. He only ended up with 1 wicket, but just found a great level of pace and bounce, and a shorter ball just rose on Brook. He mentioned it to Mitchell at first slip. Other than that, Bryden Cast hit a 6, and that was pretty much it. Matty Potts wrapping up the series, holding out to Tim Southey. He took the final catch in the deep off Mitch Santner, who ended with 4 wickets.
Yeah, I think it's nice to see Santner get a few wickets after coming in for this test. Victory to New Zealand by 423 runs, which coincidentally equals their biggest ever winning margin by runs in a test match. Anything in the after press conferences that revealed anything for you? Like, say, the state of Ben Stokes' leg?
Stokes is pretty much fine, we think. He said he couldn't make any statement on it because he's having an MRI tomorrow. He had a scan today, but the results hadn't come back. He said he could have batted if he deemed the situation sort of tight enough that he should go in. There was talk about him missing the test match summer, and he laughed and said it's not that serious. So he's likely to miss the SA20 in January, but that's probably no bad thing for him, so he can get some rest ahead of a really important summer and winter for England. We had McCullum on the boundary rope afterwards, sort of summarising this year. He said it's been a fantastic year, that they've been able to see and breed a whole new level of players. He spoke about Jimmy's retirement and how that's never nice, but how Gus Atkinson is seamlessly transferred it into that role as with the new ball. And he's also talking about his white ball role. He's very excited to get that underway, and he says he just loves cricket, so he can't say no to any coaching opportunity. Tom Latham did the conference for New Zealand, pretty happy. The thing with Tom Latham is that I don't think you can sort of decipher whether he's just lost or just won. Each test match he seems to be the same. Not much coming from him apart from O'Rourke. O'Rourke is hailed as the next, well, as a bowler that New Zealand have never had a sort of bowler like him before. So they're very excited about his future.
So we end up in a situation where England haven't got another test till May. And it would seem to me there's some serious question marks for England in relation to particularly spin bowling and opening the batting. But from what you've said previously, it sounds like the loyalty shown by McCallum and Stokes to people once they're in the team is unlikely to create significant changes in the short term.
Well, Crawley again came up in conversation with McCallum, and he said he's going to play in the summer. They don't pick him for his consistency, as I said yesterday. They pick him for when he gets in, he's going to win matches. Again, spoke about that yesterday. There's not much more really needed to be said there. Bashir, we were speaking about this last night, and at the end of the Pakistan series, Stokes was asked about Bashir and whether Jack Leach provides any competition, and he said he's almost backed himself into a corner now by saying that Bashir is their frontline spinner for the foreseeable future. So he's bound to have at least the first 3 tests of the India series before they can drop him. And even when that happens, who's going to come in? It might not be Jack Leach. Most likely it won't be Jack Leach. So then it's sort of, are you going to go for Rian Ahmed? He's been in the squad, or are you going to look at a younger option? There's talk of Archie Vaughan even. So the spin selection is very much muddled up at the moment, but Bashir will get a few more opportunities in the summer.
Right. And as far as New Zealand are concerned, I mean, obviously they've got a big find in O'Rourke as a fast bowler, but I think it would be sad for us to move on from Tim Southey's last Test match. I know there's been a considerable amount of querying whether Southey should even have been playing in the series, but I think it's also important to acknowledge the fact that, you know, he's played 107 tests, he's taken 391 wickets, he's bowled more balls in Test cricket than any New Zealander ever has, at an average of just over 30. He's been quite a profound influence on New Zealand cricket over a long period of time, and I think it's important to acknowledge that.
Well, yeah, he had a nice sort of ceremony at the end. Kane Williamson said yesterday that he's had about 5 Guard of Honours already, so there's definitely been a lot of chat around his retirement. As you say, what a player he's been for New Zealand. He'll instantly be inducted into the Hall of Fame when the next batch comes along. He's sort of, for them, he's almost a Kiwi Jimmy for them, as New Zealand don't play the same amount of Test matches as England do, so he's not going to get anywhere near that record. But that level of consistency with a new ball for such a long period of time is very similar to Jimmy. So yeah, it's a big loss for New Zealand. I think he's bowed out at the right time. Potentially he could have done it sooner, but definitely with the break that New Zealand have, I think it's 5 or 6 months until their next Test matches. I think he's pretty happy to be retiring, and there was a nice ceremony at the end for him.
Right. Oh, that's brilliant. So Hector, from a personal point of view, what have been your highlights of the last month or so in New Zealand?
Oh, it's been a great month. Generally, most days the highlights come up for the real. I don't think I can name one. I loved the Hagley Oval, the first test, just because everything was just so new and amazing, and I really liked how close and to the ground we were sitting and all the interaction around there. Watching Harry Brooks score a load of runs, hit a load of sixes was pretty good, and the Gus Atkinson hat trick was also pretty special. But yeah, loads of highlights.
And what about your experience of being in the press box for the first time for a whole tour? How has that changed you?
Well, it's been amazing. I think I've learned a lot. Loads of people in there have been really helpful and really generous with their time. So yeah, I'm really happy for the experience. I think I've learned a whole lot, and I mean, still can't believe that I'm here. And yeah, just getting to talk and interview players at the end of each day has been pretty crazy.
It's been fantastic, Hector, and just the start of a soaring career in journalism, cricket journalism. I have no doubt, unless of course your playing becomes so good that you're on the field rather than in the press box.
Yeah, long way off from that. Long way off.
Oh dear. Well, I just want to say on behalf of Guerilla Cricket and all our listeners how much we've enjoyed having you bring us not just your summaries at the end of every day, but keeping us in touch during the day about what's going on. It's been a really new thing for us in Guerilla Cricket to have that direct access to someone who's right on the spot the whole time, and it's added a new dimension. So I know it's been exhausting at times. I know it's been exhilarating at times, but it's been fantastic for all of us to have you there. So I just want to say thank you so much for all that you've put in to make this work so well.
Well, thank you, Messi, as well for all of these. I really enjoyed doing these, and yeah, to Guerilla Cricket for having this opportunity. I've loved every second of it.
Well, I gather you're off to is it Waiheke Island for a few days before heading off to Sydney for Christmas? So it's a tough life, I know.
Oh, it's really tough. I mean, it just gets worse and worse, really.
So I just say happy Christmas to you and to all our viewers. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful Christmas and New Year. And we look forward to you being back in the studio in Sydenham for when England start playing the white ball series against India towards the end of January. Thanks so much, Hector.
Matthew. Happy Christmas.
And to you, mate.
And now it's time for Guerilla Roundup.